ज्ञानतिवृन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 47, verse number 54. So, we read the message sent by Sri Krishna through Uddhava and then Gopi's reaction to that. Now Sri Sukadeva Goswami is speaking. So in the previous verse he said that after hearing the messages sent by Sri Krishna, the gopis, they became free from the fear fire of separation, and they worshipped Uddhava, knowing themselves to be Dhokshaja. So in the next he says, Uvasa katichin masan gopinam vinudat chochaha Krishna-līlā katham gayan ramaya masa gokulam. So Uddhava stayed for a few months here in Vrindavan while dispelling the grief of the gopis by singing the stories of Sri Krishna. He relished his stay here in Gokula and gave them happiness. So Ramayamasa Gokulam means that he gave pleasure to all the residents of Gokula. So Kshana Prayani, there is no commentary on this. Yavanti hani nandasya vraja vatsit saudhavah vrajoksam kshana prayani asan krishnasya vartaya. As long as Uddhava stayed in the Vraja of Nanda Maharaj, the residents of Vraja felt the time passing like a moment, kshana prayani asan, while engaged in talks about Krishna. So Uddhava was also relishing his stay, and the people of Vraja, they also were relishing his stay because there was talk. He was also asking them about Krishna, what he was doing, his stories, and they were also asking him what Krishna is doing in Mathura, how is he. So all this went on for a few months. Kshana prayani iti Uddhavasya anuvartha namatvad bhagavatopi ananda datritva shakti arpanatcha iti gamyate. So he says Uddhava was true to his name. Uddhava means festival. So therefore when he was here in Braja, there was as if there was a festival. Wherever he went, people just felt so happy. Because one thing is that he also resembles Krishna in appearance, and he was wearing the cloths used by Sri Krishna as prasad. Tayo bhukta sarvgandha vasalankar charchita, as he himself says in 11th Canto. So Uddhavasya anuvartha namatvat. So this is called anuvartha nama, means as is his name, so was his character, his behavior. Otherwise, some people have only the name but not the corresponding quality in them. So he says that he has the power to give pleasure even to Krishna. Bhagavatopi ananda datritva shakti arpanach. So this is power, potency, which he has attained from Sri Krishna himself. He has given him this. Therefore he pleased all the Brajvasis by his presence here. And then there is a description what he was doing, going around. Saridavana giri dronir vikshan kushmitan draman Krishnam sansmarayan reme haridaso vrajaukasam. So while seeing the rivers, forests, mountain, the valleys and the trees full of flowers, he remembered Krishna, because all these things reminded him of Krishna. And in this way, Uddhava relished in the midst of Vrajvasis. So it is just like these days people do Vraj Parikrama. They go from village to different places where Krishna has performed pastime. So Uddhava was the first one to do that, because it says that he went to the rivers, to the mountains, to the valleys, to the forests. So wherever Krishna has performed various activities, he went Krishnam Samsmarayan, and he was reminding others also about, because he would ask them. So he would accompany them, go to different places, and they will speak. And in this way he reminded the residents of Raja about Krishna, Krishnam Samsmarayan, Reme, and he relished. So therefore he is called here as Haridas, or servant of Sri Krishna. Drishtvevam Adi Gopinam Krishnaveshatma Viklavam Uddhava Parma Prita Tanamasyan Nidam Jagau. So when he was staying here, and then it was time for him to leave, so he understood that how the gopis, they were happy, but they will also feel sometimes distressed, disturbed, Viklavam, Krishna Aveshatma Viklavam, because of their deep absorption in Krishna. So by seeing this Uddhava, he became supremely pleased, and then he bowed down to them and sang the following song, Namasyan Idam Jagau. So earlier we saw that gopis, they worshipped him, and now he is worshipping them. And he is doing it not because he is asked to do it, or it is some protocol to do it, because sometimes if you meet senior people or people who have high position, you go and give respect to them. But nothing like this, just out of love, out of happiness, and understanding how great the gopis are. So then he sang the following. So this is quite amazing that Uddhava is not only praising them, but he is bowing down to them, Namasyan. He actually went down on the ground. So he comes from a royal family, and these are cowherd people and also ladies. So he bows down to them. So that means he was not concerned that what people will say. I am a Kshatriya, I am a royal person, and how can I bow down to them? So he did not care for that. So evam adi charitam iti shesha. So by seeing the behavior of the gopis, then he spoke. Krishna aveshena atmano manaso viklavo divyo unmadadi yatra. So Krishna avesh atmana. Krishna avesh atma viklavam. So seeing how the minds of the gopis were disturbed and they were in this divine madness, as we heard the Brahmar Geet. So this state of love he has not experienced before. He has not seen that someone can have this much love. And this is what struck him. So therefore, Namasyan idam namaskaram mantramiva jagau. So what he spoke here is as if this is the namaskar mantra. Like when we bow down to deity, we may recite some mantra. So Jagau Uchchai Ruccharyamasa, and he sang it loudly, not mentally, not thinking what some other people hear, then what they will think, what they will say. So he openly spoke. And kshatriya jaterapi swasya gopastri namaskritir anyayan na bhavati iti darshaitum. Shri Swami Charan. So why he did this openly and loudly? He wanted to show that it is not improper that I am a kshatriya and I am bound down to the women who are cowherdess. So he wanted to show to people that how, because this is not according to varnashram dharma, this is beyond, outside, this is not within the varnashram dharma system to do that. This is against. So he wanted to show that in bhakti there is no importance of birth or gender or age or anything like that. Bhakti is superior, and anyone who has it is superior to everything else, and therefore bhakta is topmost. So in third canto, when Kapil Dev is speaking about who is the supreme object of charity, then he goes various levels, starting from immovable to movable and so on. And then human beings, then brahmanas, then bhaktas, and then Krishna. So there also devotees are superior to all other beings. So that is what Uddhava is also demonstrating. That I am a kshatriya, but that is just as far as the social dharma is concerned. All kshatriya, brahman, vaishya, these are dharma of the body, which is acquired. So this is acquired dharma. But dharma of Atma is bhakti. So Krishna says that Atma is my amsa, mamai vanso jiva loka. So this is what he is showing. And he is also showing that these gopis are not only worthy of my respect but of everyone. Because he is not some sentimental person, he is learned, educated, scholarly, disciple of Brihaspati. So he is not doing it just because he is influenced by something, but he has realized how great the gopis are. And therefore he bows down to this. And this is also Sri Swami Charana, Sridhar Swami also speaks like this. So that is the first verse. He says, Etaha param tanubhrito bhuvi gopabadho govinda eva nikhilatmani rudha bhavaha vanchanti yadbhavbhiyo muniyo vayam cha kim brahma janabhir ananta katharasasya. So, etaha tanubhrito param. So he is saying that on this earth bhuvi, these are the supreme people who have body, embodied beings. Among all the embodied beings, these gopavadhus, these cowherd women, they are the best, they are the supreme. So one may say, well, they are not brahmanas, they are not kshatriya, they are vaishya. Says that is based on varnashram, but they have something which is Govinda eva nikhilatmani rudha bhava. That they have the mahabhava, rudha bhava means mahabhava. They have the supreme state of prema in Sri Krishna. Nikhilatmani, who is Sri Krishna? He is the Atma of everyone. He is the object of love for everyone, and although he is the object of love for everyone, it is the gopis who have the supreme love for him, and therefore they are the best, superior to all other embodied beings. So Tanubhrita is not saying Tanubhritam, that among embodied beings they are the best, but they are better than all others. Means they are of their own class. They don't belong to the other category. And we also want it. Vanchanti yad bhav muniyo vayam cha. So the great sages and people in the material world, we also want it, vanchanti. But we only want it, we don't have it, nor do we get it. But at least we aspire for it. And kim brahma janbhir ananta katha rasasya. So if you have attachment to hearing ananta katha or katha of Sri Krishna, then what is the value of even taking birth as Brahma and many Brahma janmabhi ananta katha rasasya kim? Because the purpose of human life is to attain bhakti. That is the supreme. Krishna says this, Esha buddhimatam, Esha buddhimatam buddhi manisha cha manishinam, yat satyam manritene martena apnuyat mamritam. So this is his last instruction, and he was teaching to Uddhava. This where he ends. He says this is the intelligence of the intellect of the intelligence and wisdom of the wise, that with this mortal body, which is temporary, one can attain me, who is permanent. Yat satyam anriteneha martena apnoti mamrit. So this is quite amazing that with this material body, which is made of all these material tattvas, tungmas rudhirasthi, and skin, some meat, blood, bones, snayu, medo, majja, so all this mixture. And with this body one can attain Krishna. That's quite amazing. That's the most intelligent thing. But forgetting that, we waste our life in other ephemeral goals, temporary objects, which don't lead us anywhere. So therefore he prayed to these gopis. That's why he starts Eta param tanubhritam bhurgo prabandho. He's first talking about the body, because one may see the gopis have the body of a cowherdess. So he says it's not the importance, is not what kind of body you have, because body everybody has same blood, bone, skin, some hair on top of it, right? So what is superior and inferior in that? The superiority comes only by the character. Even if somebody is born in a Brahmana family but does not behave like this, Ravana was also Brahmana, but he has to be killed by Bhagavan Ram. So Brahmanasya dehom nakshadra kamaya kalpate. Brahmana is not for petty goals. So Kachatra Tapsai, it's meant for austerity, but if you don't do that, then what is the value of Brahman? Same body. So therefore he says that this is the supreme position of the gopis. Why? Because they have Akhilatmani Ruda Bhava. So the highest state of love for Sri Krishna exists in them. Tasam sarvotkrishtam mahatmyam aha panchami. So he spoke 5 slokas. He gives a right? With 5 slokas. Panch means 5, Panchaghi. So it gives the Mahatmya, the glory of the gopis. Etaparam kevalam tanubhrita safal janmanaha. So he says that only these gopis have their birth successful, fruitful. There is no one like. Why? Because they are having Rudha Bhava, which means Mahabhagavati. Yaditi yam nirud bhavam bhavbhiyo mumukshava muniyo mukta vayam cha Shri Krishna sanginopi bhakta vanchanti natu prapnuvanti. So what is this nirud bhava? He says everybody wants it. Bhavbhiya means those who are looking for moksha, mumukshus. There are materialistic people, and there are people who are mumukshu, and then there are people who are mukta, and then there are people who are bhakta. So 4 types of people. So first category, leave them. They are not interested. There is no point in talking about them. So mumukshu, mukta and bhakta, they all want this, even bhaktas. So muniyo, muni means those who are muktas, and vayam, we also. So it is even we who are actually associate of Krishna, and we are devotees, we also want this, because it is so supreme. Vanchanti na tu prapnuvanti. But we only wish to have it, but we cannot have it. So, na prapnuvanti. Ato anant kathasu raso rago yasya tasya brahma janmabhir vipra sambandhi bhi shokla savitre yagyikai stri bhi jambi janmabhi chaturbhuk janmabhir vakim koatish. So therefore one who has got raga, attachment in the stories of Ananta Sri Krishna, what is the value for him to have Brahma Janma, means being born as a Brahmana and then having 3 types of birth. So Shokla, Savitri and Yagik. So he says, what is the value of it? Means if one is not a devotee, so the Viprad, Gunad, Arvindanabha. If there is a Brahmana, he has 12 qualities, but is not a devotee, then Sapacham Varishtam. Even a devotee who may be a dog eater is better than that. That's Prahlad Maharaj saying. So importance is bhakti. And without bhakti, then you can make, it's like among the atheists also, you can make gradations. That he is more sattvic, he is more tamasic, etc. But from bhakti point of view, they are all same, inferior. So therefore he says that what is the importance even if one becomes a Brahmana but not a devotee. And then among devotees, the gopis are the supreme. Or Brahma Janma means taking birth as Brahma, many births of Brahma, Chaturmukh Janma Bhirva. Not one time, but many times. So ko atishaya, what is the value? Na kopi means there is nothing. Yato anant kathasu raga eva sarva utkarsha pratipadako nami. Because it is attachment to the stories of Sri Krishna which brings greatness, utkarsha, which brings value better than anything else, which brings glory, sarva utkarsha pratipadak, not anything else. If devotion is not there, then everything else is meaningless. So this is the conclusion of Bhagavatam. Because many times this question is asked, that who is better, a devotee who is not well behaved, and a non-devotee who is very well behaved, very compassionate, charitable, very empathetic. So which one is better? So he says it is devotee who is better. Non-devotees would not like to hear that. But Krishna also says this, apichayat sudaracharam. So sudaracharam means immoral behavior. But he has to be fixed in devotion. Bhaste mam ananya bhak. So he says he should be considered as sadhu, not the other one. Other ones, he says, 4 types of people don't worship me. So then, from bhakti point of view, they don't have any value. Among themselves, there are sadhus. There are sadhus among non-devotees, there are sadhus among yogis, sadhus among karma yogis, sadhus among jnanis, various types of sadhus. On every path, on every society, there are some people who are sadhus, considered as better than others. But when we compare it from bhakti point of view, then it's only bhakti which makes one sadhu. So that's the meaning of this. Yadva ananta kathasu araso yasya tasya viprujan bhirvaki. Or it means that if one does not have attachment to ananta katha, then what is the value of viprujan? So he says both ways. That if you have attachment to pastimes of Krishna, what is the value of taking birth in Brahman? Doesn't matter where you are born. And if you don't have attachment to Krishna, then what is the value of being born in Brahman family? It will only give you pride. Yatas tatkathasu raga bhavam eva tatsar vaifalya pratipadak. So just as bhakti is sarva safalya, sarva utkarsha pratipadaka, it brings all perfection. In the same way, non-devotion brings all imperfection, no matter who you are and what you are. So this is a very clear statement, without any confusion, because people sometimes have this doubt that what is the value of being devotee if you are not well behaved, non-devotees are better. So he says that tat kathasu raga bhavam eva tat sarva vaifalya pratipadak. That not having raga for Sri Krishna or his stories, that brings all imperfection, all failure. So that's the contrast. Then next verse is little problematic. Kvema striyo vanacharirvya vichara dushtaha Krishne kochai se paramatmani rudha bhavaha Namnishvaro nubhajito vidushopi sakshat Shreyastanotyagadaраjivopayuktaha. So kvema striya. So qua means where. So when we use to qua, it signifies distinction, mahatva. Svokvema striyo vanacharir vyavichara dushta Krishna kvachaisa paramatmani rudabha. So where are these women who are vanachari or vancharya, who wander in the forest and they are polluted by immoral behavior? And Krishna Ekvachaisa Paramatmani Rudha Bhava. And where is the Mahabhav in Sri Krishna? Who is the Paramatma? Supreme Atma. So to show that how great this Rudha Bhav is, and their birth is like this. So this Vyabhichar Dushta is problematic statement here. So Vyabhichar is used for immoral. Gopis are not immoral. So various explanations are given for this, that it is talking about the Vanachari who are living in the forest, some other women, these gopis. They are like Vyabhichar Dushta, he will explain. So different ways of explaining. So nanu ishvaro anubhajito vidushopi sakshat sheyatanut. So if you render service to Ishvara, even if you are avidusha, you are not scholarly, then it brings welfare to you, just like agadaraj iva upyukta. So if you drink nectar, amrita, knowingly or unknowingly, then it will cure your disease. So like that bhakti, whether performed with knowledge or without knowledge, gyatva gyatva, bhaje tamam. So it will bring benefit, like you touch fire, knowingly or unknowingly, it will burn. So this is because the object has got its own inherent potency in it. In yajna, the power comes because of the Vedic injunction. So darspurna masabhyam yajet. So there is discussion done that when you do yajna, is the power in the activity or is the power because it is an injunction of the Vedas? Where is the power actually? In Purvamīmaṅsa there is this discussion about it. So is the good or good result which comes, it is because just it is the activity, therefore the result is coming, or because it's said in Vedas and you follow it and then you get the good result? So one group says that it is the activity itself which has power in it. That if you do yajna, then it will bring benefit. Like these days they are doing tests that if you do yajna, it purifies the air, it creates oxygen, right? So that's not because of the injunction in the Vedas. Anyone can do it. There are Agnihotra groups now, even in Europe, right? There are many people doing Agnihotra. So it's just the activity which brings. But then there is other group says no, it is the power is coming because of the injunction. The Veda says Dasa Purnamāsabhyam yajet. He says you do it on another day, you won't get the benefit. If you do it only on Amavasya and Purnima, then only it will give you the benefit. Agnihotra also you do it at that time when it is stated, then it gives benefit, otherwise not. So therefore it is the injunction which has the power. The activity does not have the inherent power in it. But bhakti is having inherent power in it. That's why in Purvamīmaṅsa you have to follow everything very strictly. If you make little mistake, then it doesn't give the result. Why? If the activity itself was having power, it will give. But it does not. Because it did not follow the injunction. So here it says that it is not so with bhakti. Ishvara anubhajto avidusha api. Even if it is somebody is avidusha, not learned, then Sakshat Shreya Tanoti. Still it will give ultimate benefit. So Bhagavan is Bhavagrahi Janardana. So therefore even Nama Bhas could liberate Ajamila. So he was not following any injunction, he was only calling his son. So that gave him the benefit. Why? Because it has power. It was not even the name, but Nama Bhas, semblance, still it had some power. Like snake, even if you see a plastic snake, you get fearful. Somebody throws a plastic snake in front of you, you jump 2 feet away. So it's not a snake, it is a snake abhas. But still it instills fear in your heart. And even if you know it is plastic, still you are scared. Even if someone says, oh, it is only plastic, and puts it on your hand, you may get scared still. Right? So this is because of the abhas. So he gives example of Agadaraj, the nectar. So tasmat jananam mahotkarsha bhaktireva karanam natu tapo jnanadikam. So therefore the supremacy of people is only because of bhakti, or greatness in anyone is only because of bhakti and not anything else. It's only bhakti which makes one great, not austerity. People get influenced sometimes by austerity, he is doing this, he is doing that, or knowledge. But the real thing is only bhakti. Bhaj Govindam, Govindam bhaj mudhamate, samprapte sannihit kale, nahi dakshati, drukuya karane. So drukuya karane is fine if you are studying the Akhyat Prakarana, but at the time of death, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, kaste ante kalevaram. So that bhav will save you. Right? Krishna is using the word bhav. Bhav is bhakti. Sacha bhakti swayam sarvotkrishtaapi sarvaloka pratishthitattvena sarvotkrishtyapi sthalena tishtati sarvaloka vigitatvena atinikrishtapi sthale tishtati. So he says that although this bhakti is superior to anything else, jnana, vairagya, tapasya, etc., and it is established by everyone or accepted by everyone, but it is not necessary that it comes only to those who are born in high family or who are in high position. Sarvotkrishtyapi sthalena tishtati. It can be in someone who is insignificant. Sarva loka vigitatve na ati nikrishtapi. Someone who is very inferior and not respected by others, rather criticized. But there can be bhakti in such a person, and that makes him the best. Sthitva cha tadeva swaspadam sarvotkristam sarvapujyam sarvadurlabh padvikam cha karoti. And then wherever bhakti becomes situated, then by its own power it makes that person as supreme, worshipable and rare position. Savishmayam. So this is with great wonder he is speaking this verse, Sarvamansam, with hair standing on end. When Uddhava is saying this, means he is saying how great is bhakti, that whoever has it, doesn't matter in which family or varna or class one is born, that person becomes great. So kwa iti dvabhyam, in two slokas it says, imah striya iti stritvena gopasantatitvena cha jatya vigita. So these are women, and not only women but they are born in the cowherd family. So therefore by their jati they are not very worshipable. Gopas are also called Mahasudra. Gopastu Mahasudra. So it is Jatya Vigita. And Vanchari iti, Vanchari should be Vancharya. Iti Van Brahman Silatvat. And then they are wandering in the forest. Not they are living in some city. Means Vanchari means like you say aborigines, uncultured, not high quality. Vyavichar dushta iti acharane api vigita. And their behavior is also not very respectable. Imakaha Krishne Paramatmani Vaikunthanatha Atmabhyapi Parme Sarvan Sanipun Swarupe Rudha Bhava. And they have Paramatmani Krishna Rudha Bhava. They have the Mahabhava in whom? In Sri Krishna. So who is Sri Krishna? He says he is Paramatma. So Paramatma means that he is the Amsi. Among all the Atmas or Paramatmas, he is supreme. So he is the original source of everyone else. So Vaikuntha-nathadibhya Atmabhyo api Parme Sarvamsi. So Lord of Vaikuntha is called Atma and his Krishna is called here as Paramatma. Bhakterapi Param Mahan Vilaso Mahabhava. And not only that they just have bhakti, some ordinary devotion, but the supreme state of bhakti which is called Mahabhava. So pranaya, man, all these stages, sneha, etc. Rag and rag, bhav, mahabhav, they have the highest state. Kwa iti atyanta asambhave kwa dvaya prayoga. So by using the word kwa, he is saying something which is absolutely impossible. That is here. Therefore he uses kwa 2 times. Aho iti ascharyam iti. So means what a great surprise. So very astonishing. Vimrishya kshanam vibhavya gyat tattvo naitad ascharyam ityahanami. So after saying the first part, he stopped for a moment and thought what to say next. And then he understood. Then he speaks the second half. Nanu iti. So nanu. So nischayanu bho iti. So it is in certainty that surely it is swamaneva sambodhyokti. Swamaneva, so he is speaking to his own mind and then speaks. Ishvaro Bhagavan bhajto janasya napi bhajan siddhasya. So the word Ishvara here means Bhagavan. So Ishvaro anubhajato, one who is worshipping him, means he has not become perfect yet in bhajan. And avidusho api, tat padartham padartha gyan rahitasya api. He does not know the difference between Atma, Paramatma, etc. All these complications. Sakshat Shreyaha Sansar Mukti Purvakam Swam Prem Ras Aswadarupam Mangalam Sarv Mukterapi Durlabham Vastu Tanoti. So that gives freedom from the samsara But not only that, it gives the most auspicious thing in the form of the taste of prema, which is beyond all mukti and most rare to attain. Yatha agadarajo amritam upayuktaha pitasan. Just like if one drinks amrita, then tatsvarupam ajanatopi, not knowing what it is, but drinks it. Janasya sarvyadhi prasaman purvakam purna swada apurva swada vishesham tanoti. So then all his disease is dispelled and he relishes an unprecedented taste. Kim punarasam bhakti siddha nitya siddha shiromaninam. So if that is the situation about a person who is not a siddha, who is not perfected being, who has not attained prema, but he also can relish prema by doing bhajan, then what to speak of the gopis who are perfected in bhakti, and not only that they are sadhana siddhas, but they are nitya siddhas. So how much they relish devotion to Krishna. Tat swarupa guna aishwarya madhurya mahavidushinam. And they are not avidusha, they are not illiterate as far as bhakti is concerned. They are supremely learned about the form, qualities, majesty and sweetness of Krishna. Because prema reveals everything. So they know. Tat paricharya upkarani krita sviya buddhi indriya sarva gatraya yavan alankara parichadanam. And then they have offered everything in the service of Krishna. Whether it is their intelligence, their senses, their body, their youth, their ornaments, their dresses, everything. Only for his sake. Means they don't do anything for themselves. Naradadi sarva bhakta durlabham rud bhavam na tam yaditi bhava. So even great learned sages, devotees like Narada, they also cannot have rude bhav like the gopis. Rude bhavasya lakshanam ujjal nilvanam drishyam. The definition of rude bhava or mahabhava can be seen in Ujjal Nilmani. Vyabhichar dushta. So now he comments on this word Vyabhichar dushta, which is a problematic statement here, because calling them as polluted by immoral behavior. Vyabhichar means immoral behavior and dushta means polluted. So he comments, it is trinam travidhyat. He says there are three types of Vyabhichar dushta ladies. Vyabhichara trividha. The immoral behavior is of three types. Patim uppatim cha ramayanti ekaha. So the first category is that she is married, but she is also having an affair with another man. So she is having a relation with the husband and also with paramour. That is one type of immoral woman. Sahi loka shastrayor vigitaha. Such a woman is criticized both in the society as well as in Shastra. Patim tyaktva upatim ekameva ramayantyaha anya. Second type of immoral woman is that she gives up her husband and she goes with the paramour and lives with him only, but she is not going here and there to other. Sahi loka shastra vigitatvayapi ek purush matra pritimatvena ras shastre sangita. So she is criticized in the society as well as in Shastra, because Shastra says you should not go and live like this. But because she is having love only for one person, and because of the love she gives up the husband, She is praised in Ras Shastra. So this is the second type of immoral. Then there is a third type. Swapatim tyaktva uppati buddhya bhagvantam eva ramayantya aparaha. That she gives up her husband and she worships or enjoys with Krishna, thinking of him as her lover. Sahi anabhigya loka vigitatve api abhigya loka sangitatvat lok shastra param arnihatvat. So such a woman is criticized only by ignorant people of the society, but the learned scholars as well as Shastra, they worship her. Yadyapi na vyabhicharas tathapi vyabhichara sadharmya deva vyabhichara uchyate. So he says that the third type is really not immoral, but because she appears like that, therefore Uddhava uses the word vyabhichara drashta. Otherwise they are not. Vraj sundri namato atra vyabhicharani dushta iti iva iti vyakhya. So therefore in case of the gopis, the word vyabhicharani dushta, they are immoral, should be explained that they are like immoral and not immoral. So that is his comment, and we'll stop if there is any question.
Babaji, here it is said Param Mahan Vilasho Vilasha. So what does the Vilasa really refers to here?
Manifestation.
Manifestation.
Prema manifests at various levels.
Okay, thank you.
Naveen. Salsa.
I pronounced Babaji. I have one question that you said that a devotee bad behaved is better than a non-devotee well behaved.
Yes.
But it's better to commit sin as a non-devotee than to commit aparadha as a devotee. So can you elaborate in this?
No, he is not considering here sin or not sin. He is seeing from ultimate point of view. See, when you see a human being, and then you see that this person has understood that the goal of life, the ultimate goal which you can achieve with human life is Krishna Prema. Or one can attain moksha. Or one can just enjoy here in the material world. Or one can be dharmic, religious, pious and go to heaven in next life. So these are different things you can achieve in human life. So if you compare them, then he says that one who is devotee, one whose goal is being devotee, he is superior than others. Because even if he is immoral at present, he will become purified after some time because of his goal and because of his practice. And then he will surpass everyone, all this moral, immoral behavior. But one who is well behaved but does not believe in God, or one is not acting in devotion, he is just under the law of karma. And then you never know what will happen to him in his next life, because he can, even if he is pious, he can commit offenses, he can make mistakes for which he has to suffer and take birth. So he is comparing from that point of view. So at present, in a limited vision, it may appear that one who is non-devotee but well behaved is better than this immoral behaving devotee. But in the ultimate sense, it is not so. As far as non-devotee committing sin and devotee committing aparadh, if he is actually a devotee, even if he is committing aparadh, he will rectify. he becomes negligent, then that is another story, but we are not talking about that. If he loses faith, he does not care, that is a different story. But if his faith is fixed in bhakti, then he will become free from the aparadha also by his gradual practice. He will get purified from that. Krishna Saran Baba.
Pranams, Babaji. I have a question about this last statement of Chakravarti Pad that was mentioned, or at least in comparison to something he said earlier. According to this interpretation that he gives of Vyavichar, if the gopis then, or the Vrajasundaris, are actually most praiseworthy, according to how he's interpreting the word Vyavichar, then how does that tie in with his interpretation of the double kva implying complete impossibility? Because that interpretation that he gives at the end seems like it minimizes the contrast.
Yes. So he's seeing it only from the, as you said, the anabhigya point of view. Says when he says sahi anabhigya loke vigitatve api. So means common people, obviously people are not abhigya or knowledgeable about bhakti. So for them they look like as if they are having vyabhichar. So then from that point of view he is saying that okay, they have vyabhichar but they have the highest thing. It's not that surprising. But one who is abhigya, as he says, abhigya lok sangitatvat, lok shastra paramahanyatvat, then he is stressing the importance of power of bhakti. Because from loka, from the social point of view, it is vyabhichar. But because bhakti is so pure that it purifies. So from that point of view he is speaking. And then as in the commentary says that they are nitya siddhas, so there is no question of purification in them. And that's how it is to be seen.
So it would be the root bhava contrasted with this apparent Vyavichar in the vision of the uninformed.
Yeah, because from their point of view it would look how is that they are Vyavicharis and this Uddhava is praying to them. And the sages Vanchanti Bhavbhyo Muniyo Vayamcha. So on one side they look like Vyabhicharani, other side they are worshipable. How is this possible? And from social convention point of view, it looks Vyabhichar only. That they are giving up the husband and then running after another boy. So then he says that they are most worshipable because this person is Krishna. And that is the highest thing to be attained. So this Vyabhichar does not make any obstacle or any problem. Yeah, this is a problematic word, Vyabhichar Dushta. Okay, anyone else? Yes.
Babaji, could I ask one other question
Yes.
on the previous verse?
Yes, please.
Sometimes I've struggled to feel a sense of sangati between the statement made in the first 3 feet and the statement made in the last line. And I don't see exactly Chakravarti Pad specifically speaking to the point of why is it that having rasa or raga for anantakata is relevant to the fact that he and others of the most exalted position aspire for this root of bhava of the gopis. What are these two statements? Why are they being put together like this?
What he's saying is that we want only this and not even birth of Brahma. Because there is Brahma Janma here, Ananta Katharasasya. So you want to become Brahma or you want Ananta Katha Rasa. So he says that one who has Ananta Katha Rasa, then what is the value? Kim Brahma Janma? It's in the sense of rhetorically, what is its value? And that Ananta Katha Rasa is what he says we want. Vanchanti. Which gopis have.
Sometimes, I'd like your opinion on this, sometimes I've wondered if there's an implied Kaimutya in this statement, meaning that Rupa Bhava being bhakti in its most exalted form, and Bhagavat Katha Ruchi, or Raga, being bhakti in its most generic, if you will, form. Shramayambu, Kevalam, these kind of statements earlier in the Bhagavatam, and if even having that bhakti in its most generic form is superior than the birth of Brahma, then what to speak of what is desirable in this most exalted state of Bhava that the gopis have?
Yeah, it can be taken certainly like that. That's why he said that aprasla is katha arasasya. That if we don't have katha rasa, then what is the value? And then what to speak of what gopis have? Can make that. I think Uddhava is also too much excited, so he speaks slokas like this. He was also in the Viklava state out of bhakti. Some Divya Unmad got desired also. Yeah, this Brahma Janbir Katharasasya and then this Vyabhichar Dushta. These are very problematic statements which he makes. And Vanchari instead of Vanchariya. So, little bit of Unmad he also contracted from the gopis.
Cheers, Babaji.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mohini.
I have a question about the previous classes. You once explained that Rupa Goswami made his lakshanas of the Chitra Jalpas in Ujjvala Nilamani based on these few verses from Bhagavatam. So my question is, we also discussed that Krishna is dreaming about the gopis and he's telling that, that the meetings in the dreams are real, etc. And so my question is, Rupa Goswami also wrote Lalita Mata, where he is also describing the dreams. Did Rupa Goswami take his idea to write Lalita Mata and those Līlās also from these verses of the Bhagavatam?
Which verses? I don't understand. Lalit Madhav is a whole book, and here there is only talking about Divya Unmad.
No, I mean we discussed that Krishna is also dreaming about gopis and the meetings in the dream is real. And Rupa Goswami is writing such kind of Līlās in Lalita Mata.
Yeah, but dream is you don't have to take idea. Dream is everybody's experience. It's not something that it is described only here. There are many places like that. There's one called Swapna Vasav Datta. The name itself is Swapna Vasav Datta.
this means Rupa Goswami did not take the inspiration from Lalita Mata from these verses.
I cannot say, but I am saying that it is not something that he could not do without this. Maybe he took, but he can also do it without. If these verses were not there, still he could do it. That's what I mean.
One other question, I'm not so well versed in that, but I have heard that there is Rasa Shastra from Bharata Muni, and Rupa Goswami is also explaining the same rasas in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Ujjvala Nilamani. So when you explained that Rupa Goswami took the definitions of the Chitra Jalpa from Bhagavatam, so this means in the Rasa Shastras which explain the material rasas, Chitra Jalpa is not mentioned there?
Yeah, it's not mentioned.
Okay. And one last question, these verses, they have Bhakti Paksha and also Jnana Paksha. And the messages, the content of the Jnana Pakshas, that kind of verses we find also in the Bhagavatam, everywhere in Bhagavatam. So my question is can we interpret Jnana Paksha verses in other places of the Bhagavatam also from the Bhakti Paksha point of view?
See, you have to see who is speaking and to whom it is spoken. You can interpret anything in any way, but it should fit in the context. So here the context is that Uddhava is speaking to gopis. So you can say, but if suppose someone else is speaking on Gyan Marg, Krishna is also speaking to Uddhava about Gyan Marg, and then specifically the question is about Gyan, and then you start interpreting Bhakti way, then what sense that makes? Interpretation, you can do all kinds of things. It's like he had a Dhokshaja here, and what interpretation he gave, and then he added Atma Dhokshaja, he gave another. So it should fit in the context. Now you give this explanation of Adhokshaja somewhere else, it will not fit there.
Okay. But then how to understand that when it is said that Bhagavatam, the whole Bhagavatam is Radha Bhav? So how to understand those statements which describe Jnana Paksha in other contexts, how to understand that as a Radha Bhav?
Well, first of all is that you have heard too many things. That's one of the problem. That whole of Bhagavatam is Radha Bhav. So I don't know where is it said. But let's say it is. Then think Radha Bhav includes everything.
Okay.
So
Yes, thank you.
okay, Sandeep.
So what exactly is root bhava? Is it sthai bhava, more than sthai bhava?
So don't worry about it if you have not studied Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu or Ujjvala Nilmani or Chaitanya
Bhakti
Charitamrita.
Rasamrita Sindhu I learned from you, Babaji.
No, that is only first part.
Yes.
So this is higher state of Sthai Bhav. This is the highest state, which is described in Ujjvala Nilmani. Okay.